Hey guys, I'm back, and today I am going to be polling you in the comments to see what palette I should pan in 2025. If you are new here, I will link my 2024 and prior pan that palette videos for your watching pleasure. I've been panning eyeshadow for a while now, and I have some good options with kind of a range of goals here today. This past year, I've been panning the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette, and my goal was just to hit pan in every single shade. And so, no spoilers, but make sure to watch that episode. But that will be coming up soonish. That finale should be coming out soon, and now I'm starting to think about what I want to pan next year. And I really enjoyed panning something where I was just trying to use everything and make the palette look well loved rather than trying to completely use it up. So I thought about doing something like that again this year. And then I also have some other palettes that would have more challenging goals. So without further ado, let's hop straight into it. The first one I'm considering including, I've really gone back and forth on whether or not I should include it in this video, and I decided, you know what, let's see what people think, and that is my Tarte 2017 Holiday Palette. This is very well loved. I've used it a ton. It was my only palette for a while, and I used just everything in it, but this is just a very big palette. The mattes are quite firmly pressed, so I don't pick up a lot of pigment. You can see I kind of am really digging in there, and I'm not getting a ton, but the shimmers are really pretty, so I feel like I could get something nice, some nice looks out of this, but it is definitely more colorful than what I'm used to, so I could also definitely see myself being a little overwhelmed by this palette. And then I could definitely use up the bronzer, but I don't think I could use up 2 blushes and a highlighter this year. This is the oldest palette in my collection, which is another reason why I was thinking of panning it. I just don't know if I would actually be able to use it all up in a year, or even really hit pan in every single shade. So I just don't know if it would be an exciting project because of that. So that's option number 1. Then the other 2 that I have that are use as much as I can, try to hit pan and everything. The first is my Huda Beauty New Nude palette. This was in my 2022 Pan Those Eyeshadow Palettes series, and I hit pan on 3 shades, and so this is pretty well loved. I would want to hit pan in everything except the primer shade. The primer I honestly think I'm going to scrape out. This has unfortunately reached an age where the primer's no longer really a nice, satisfying formula to use. And then I'm not sure about these 2 glitters. If they're hard to work with, I might dismiss those as well from the project, but it would be fun to reach for everything else. My concern with this palette is it is definitely a very specific color story. One thing I liked about the Soft Glam palette is you have these pinky tones, and then you also have more orange warm tones, and it was more variety, whereas this is kind of all very pink and purple, and then even these shades that look more orange tend to pull very pink on my complexion. So I worry that 6 months into the project, I'll be like, why did I pick this? I just want another color of eyeshadow, but we shall see. There are some really pretty shades in here, and it would be nice to just make this palette look more loved since it is one of my favorites in my collection. And then the last one that I'm thinking of using in 2025 and trying to hit pan on as many things as possible is this Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals Volume 1 palette. This is another one that's getting older, and I really want to use it as much as possible before maybe any of the formulas or textures change. And I really love this. This was also featured in my 2022 Pan Those eyeshadow. I'm realizing now that 3 of the 4 palettes in this project are in this lineup that I've just suggested. They're favorites. They're easy. They're something that I could imagine using myself every day, and they're things that I want to get use on. So This is one that I think regardless of whether or not I'm officially panning it, I do want to start leaving it with my everyday makeup and trying to reach for it more because it is so beautiful. And someone in a comment on a different video said that their palette, the glitters had gone bad and it wasn't like performing the way it used to. So I would really like to avoid that happening because this is like my favorite palette in my collection. Then I have 3 palettes where the goal would be to use things up entirely, and they are largely more used. So the first one is this MAC Amber times 9 palette. This already has 4 pans in it. I hit pan on these 2 just as part of like a project panning that I did before I ever started on YouTube. I hit pan in the shade Kitties in my Pan Those Eyeshadows, and I also hit Cozy Gray in Pan Those Eyeshadows, but last year, I'm forgetting what year these happened in, but Cozy Gray is a really good shade for my brows, so that would be easy to use up. I've already hit pan on these neutral browns. I really like these 2 shimmers. And then the struggle shades would probably be this one, which is Rice Paper, and then this like shimmery brown, which is Pepper Please. So this one, I think I could probably get like these, all of these maybe used up or just like looking really used, and then hit pan on both of these. That would probably be the goal. Once I got to that place, this would be a palette that I would probably let go of once I've used up the rest of it completely and I just have like a dark matte brown, because frankly I have a lot of dark matte browns in my collection and they're all interchangeable because I really only use them as like liners. Then another palette that my goal would be to basically get it used up is my Tarte Tartelette in Bloom palette. This is the 3rd one that was in my 2022 Pan Those Eyeshadow Palettes project, and this one is well loved. I have pan in over half of the palette, and I really would want to use up these 9 shades completely and then get as far as I can with these other shades, and then that would be, in my opinion, using the palette up entirely. I have no desire to like completely use up these 3 browns, as nice and blendable and pigmented as I think they are. And I know that this palette is really easy to reach for on a day-to-day, so I would be excited. This is another one where it has a mixture of like pinky or warm tones and some cool tones, so I think I could find a lot of variety, even though this is kind of a basic color story. And also this is getting older in my collection, so this is one that I think I could, as I'm moving my work, I'm wearing a lot more like work makeup every day, quick, like trying to get ready in 15 minutes or less in the morning. I think that would be easy to reach for on a day-to-day. And then Pan Those Eyeshadows could maybe be for like weekend fun or evening plans. And then the last one that I'm suggesting is this Lorac Malibu Free Spirit. This one I, on a whim, decided to put in a weekend bag when I was traveling, and then I did some traveling for work with this, and I find it really easy to use. My only concern is that these 3 shades are like half the palette, and I don't know if I could completely use up 3 full shimmers. And then this is technically a highlighter, but I do think it'd be really easy to use up these 2 as like a bronzer and a blush when I am using this on the go. It would be really easy to reach for every day, and it would leave me a lot of flexibility in my other projects, like Pan Those Eyeshadows, if I do deck of panning, to have other shades that I pull in and use in conjunction with these, because it's so like basic of a color story. So that was my thought with this one. It would be easy to use, kind of my logic for when I panned my Smashbox Cover Shop matte palette. That one, it was really easy to use in conjunction with other things, and I think this would be the same way. So that is everything for today's video. Please vote in the comments down below what you think I should pan next year, and I will take everything into consideration. If there's enough votes to where there's a clear winner, I will probably just go with that. And if there is like a tie or something, then I got to make some decisions. So that is everything. Thank you again. I hope you're having an incredible, awesome day wherever you are, and that I get to see you in a future video. Thanks, guys.